I think our calling card, our brand, is that you get personal attention here. You know, our faculty know you. You walk into the records office, they're going to know you there. You walk through the student activity center, the housekeeper's going to say hello to a student. You know, everybody kind of knows each other. So I think when a student comes here, their expectations may not be super high in terms of the experience they're going to get, but then they start having it and they're like, this is really good. And quite frankly, our academics are probably better than anybody else's in the state for what we do, which is liberal arts, engineering, nursing, our nursing school. You know, we may not have a million majors, but the 38 majors that we do have, you're going to get a quality education. And I think the personal touch and the academic experience is what kind of is our calling card and our brand.
All right, guys, welcome back. This is Joshua Klein. We're doing our Entrepreneur Talk. So this time I have somebody who means a lot to me personally. It's Ahmed Samaha. So thank you for being here. And if you want to tell the people at home, what do you do here at USC Aiken? Yeah,
well, thank you for having me, Josh. I'm excited. I'm the Vice Chancellor for Student Engagement and Inclusivity here. Basically what that means is almost a lot of what happens outside of the classroom reports to me through some terrific professional staff.
I love it. So for those who don't know, I came to USC Aiken, actually came to Aiken for the first time ever in April 2006. Never been to Aiken, didn't know anything about it, got off I-20, came through the back roads and was like, what in the world is Aiken? That fall, got to come to school here. First semester was terrible. Second semester, Ahmed kind of started playing more of a role in my life with the involvement here at USC Aiken. So through all that process, I have definitely learned a lot from this man. A lot about loving people, caring for people, and also just being a good human being overall. And don't stick to like what maybe your past judgment of people were, to open your mind up and like learn more. So thank you for that.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you. That was
really nice. So,
was it really 2006?
Yeah, we're getting older.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it really was. And I was here for the 5-year plan. So
yeah,
did that.
Who isn't anymore?
So. I love it. I love it. So you get the privilege, like I just mentioned about my life, but you get a privilege of seeing so many different students. Yeah. What has been like one thing to you that has really kind of make you come back year after year after year? We just talked a minute ago, like your opportunity of retirement's closer than it ever was before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so like, not to sound cheesy, but it's really kind of these kind of conversations. You kind of see a student kind of get through USC Aiken, through their struggles and challenges, whether it's financial, family, relationship, academic, whatever it might be, and then, you know, 3 years later, you kind of follow up with them. They're doing great. They're happy with their lives. They're figuring what things are out. I think that's what keeps me coming back, is knowing that the university's helping these students kind of figure out what they want to do with their lives and then become really good citizens in whatever community they go in. And it's kind of fun to kind of watch them evolve and kind of figure it out on their own.
So here's a good question for you. How many, he was in my wedding, how many weddings have you been in?
Well, so,
hey, you might not know the exact number.
Yeah, I think I'm on 34, and that's when we're 35.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Like 34 weddings you've been part of. So that means, like, I mean, literally that's the impact on somebody's life from like really start to finish, that you made that much of an impact.
Well, and you know, some of those were college friends, obviously, and a couple high school friends, but probably about 22, 23 of them were former students here. So that's really cool. Kind of one of the things I'm most proud, not proud of, but that I'm honored by, that folks.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and now it's kind of awkward because, you know, I'm the old guy in a wedding party, so I got to make sure that people behave appropriately at the appropriate times. Whereas I used to be that guy that maybe wasn't always behaving appropriately at the appropriate time in a wedding. So.
I love it. So what about USC Aiken has kept you here? Because, you know, a lot of times, and from the outside looking in, is you take a career and this is your starting point, you go somewhere else. We're not the biggest town in the world, so why USC Aiken, has that been home for you?
Yeah, so I've been super lucky. So I got here 28 years ago. I was the intramural sports was the one thing I was in charge of. Every 2 or 3 years, I've been fortunate to get like a promotion or a change of job title. 3 years ago, well, 4 years ago now, my boss, the vice chancellor previous to me, retired. She was a big mentor of mine. They named me interim for a year, and then we did a national search. They brought in myself and 2 other candidates. I got real lucky. I got the job. I think what brings me back every year is the students. You know, every year is different. 28 years ago, we weren't dealing with some of the stuff that we're dealing with now, and now COVID's kind of completely changed the game for higher education and for students trying to be successful. So I think the students keep me back, keep bringing me back, and they're different every year. So
what do you see, like USC Aiken, again, part of the South Carolina system, but as a whole, we have really done a great job of creating, and I say we, I mean part of the school, creating your own identity throughout the state. How has that been a challenge / how's it been so successful of making identity such a bigger system? Yeah,
so I think one of our struggles always has been that, we're not Columbia, and we're not always a student's first choice. There's clubs that head Carolina here, and I think students oftentimes will come here thinking that they're going to leave after a year. And I think we've been real successful at getting them to change their mind. I think our calling card, our brand, is that you get personal attention here.
100%.
Our faculty know you. You walk into the records office, they're going to know you there. You walk through the student activity center, the housekeeper's going to say hello to a student. Everybody kind of knows each other. So I think when a student comes here, their expectations may not be super high in terms of the experience they're going to get, but then they start having it and they're like, this is really good. And quite frankly, our academics are probably better than anybody else's in the state for what we do, which is liberal arts, engineering, nursing, our nursing school. We may not have a million majors, but the 38 majors that we do have, you're going to get a quality education. And I think the personal touch and the academic experience is what kind of is our calling card and our brand. And we need to do a much better job of selling it. That's kind of one of our weaknesses, is that we don't tell our story as effectively as we should.
Yeah, I think for me personally, I got declined from Carolina, and they seen the pamphlet, said, well, check out one of our sister schools. And USC Aiken, when I came down here, side note, I didn't even get in at first. I had to call the director of admission and ask him, hey, can you let me in? It was like on a trial basis kind of conversation, but it was taking that small touch. Like a big school, they would be like, oh, no, next person up.
All right, that's right.
So what have you seen now? So one of the things we're trying to do is we're teaching people how to be in real estate, how to be involved in the community, flipping homes, the whole nine yards. What have you seen students come in and just completely hit a home run and really succeed at, and what is making them be the successful student to make an impact in the community?
Well, I think the important thing to help a student be successful, both at USC Aiken and once they graduate, is that they got to really start thinking about how they market themselves and what their brand is their freshman year. Back when you were in college, we had lots of conversations about what you post on social media and how you portray yourself, and not just you, but then how do your friends portray yourself on the internet and social media nowadays. Create that brand, go in the career services office right off the bat as a freshman to start talking about when you want to do your internships or what the heck do I want to do in my life. I have a 22-year-old senior at Georgia, and he's changed his major 6 times. He makes great grades. He just doesn't know what he wants to do. And the only way he started figuring stuff out is by doing a job shadow in a vet's office and doing stuff like that. So you got to start early thinking about, what do I want my image to be when I go see an employer or when I go to volunteer at that nonprofit off campus. But also, how do I start figuring out what I really want to do with my life? And you're not going to figure that out when you're 22. If you figure it out by the time you're 30, you're doing really well. But you got to start trying stuff out.
I think it's so important. So, you might not know this, but I have a freshman, a rising sophomore here, is now one of my interns.
Right.
And, but I told him the other day, I was like, you don't have to know today. You're 19 years old, just be 19.
That's right.
But get involved. And for me, the biggest thing I think helped me was the involvement, right? I had a family around me that wasn't necessarily my blood family, but I had a family that could pick me up when I was down or boost me up when I needed to get praise. And that was a big importance to me. And I feel super bad for students. So students, if you're watching this, parents, push your kids to get involved in some kind of organization on campus, make it your own, because every opportunity is out there to make it special.
Well, and this is the time that you can try stuff out and really not have any repercussions. So going to study abroad, students get to do that super cheap.
Yeah.
Whereas if you try to do that after you graduate, it's going to cost you a whole lot of money. Or, trying out for a play, even if you never been in a play before. There are very little repercussions for trying stuff out while you're in college. And you're going to make mistakes, so that's part of the learning process. And if you don't make a mistake in 4 years of college, then you're not really trying to be successful, in my mind. So you kind of got to, navigate some of that and take some risks. And this is the time to do it, because you can probably do it for cheap and probably not have a lot of follow-up responsibility or blowback.
Yeah, I mean, I think about myself personally. I did a lot of risk,
Right.
a lot of reward, but honestly, it shaped me to where I'm at now.
Without a doubt.
All right, so USC Aiken plays a huge picture into the Aiken community.
Right.
I think so many people don't understand how much of a role USC Aiken does play. Where do you see USC Aiken's role in the next 3 to 5 years in our community?
Right, so I think a couple things there. So we actually were just at a meeting last night. The preliminary economic impact that USC Aiken has on the Aiken community is $350 million a year. $350 million a year. And we don't talk about that in the community a whole lot. In the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to see that even grow. Right behind us is going to be the UAMC, which is a national lab, super prestigious, that we have one on our campus. We're one of 14 universities in the whole country. There's going to be world-class engineers and scientists over there, about 100 of them. Doing really cool stuff. And our students, particularly in engineering, cybersecurity, and the sciences, are gonna get some incredible internships over there.
Wow.
And then right next door to it is gonna be the Dreamport, both on this side of campus and the other side. You know, we're gonna be the center for the National Guard in terms of cybersecurity in the state of South Carolina. I think those two projects are gonna transform this side of Aiken, because we're gonna need a build some infrastructure, some eating places, more things on this side of town for people to do during their lunch breaks, or be able to go shopping. You know, do grocery stores on this side of town, that kind of thing. I really think over the next 3 or 5 years, those two buildings are going to transform this part of Aiken.
I love it. I love it. It's so exciting. The future of Aiken is totally bright.
Yeah.
What? Let me take a step back to the school side of it. Is alumni. USC has a ton of alumni.
Right.
What is the one thing as alumni as a whole that you want to see more of, and what can alumni as a whole do better to promote the school?
Yeah, so I think one of the things, we have a brand new alumni director. She's a superstar, Tammy Ruth.
Rock star.
She's going to be terrific. We got to get our alumni to do more mentoring with our current college students and networking. You do that great. Like, you came a couple weeks ago, and I mean, you stayed after to talk to those college students about ways that they can get connected and stuff. We need more alumni participation in that way, because that's how our students figure out what what they want to do with their lives. You know, go to job shadow. Maybe I want to be a realtor, and then I find out, oh wait, those hours are crazy. That's not really what I want to do with my life. Or that's exactly what I want to do with my life, because I love walking through old homes and figuring stuff out for people.
I love it. All right, so Aiken as a whole.
Yep.
You got a beautiful wife, great kids. How's Aiken supported your family? Yeah,
so, you know, I think if you would have told me 28 years ago that I was going to be here more than 2 years, I would have told you were crazy. But I think Aiken, we wanted to raise our kids in Aiken. We made that conscious decision. There were some other opportunities to maybe not still be at USC Aiken. And Aiken has really helped foster our kids. You know, we have people in this community that it does take a village, and you know, we have people in this community that we know if something happened or we needed some help, they would look out for both our boys. Tucker, my youngest, has a social network that's just amazing, and he's a good kid. And my oldest has this core group of 6 or 7 friends and their families that really kind of, you know, help him when he has issues. Aiken's a terrific place for young families, and I think sometimes we get all wrapped up and there's not maybe a million restaurants and things like that for young families, but I think there's enough here, and the community is so tight that, and the public school system, you know, if you trust those principals and teachers, they're going to help raise your kids, and it's a really good place to raise your family.
Yeah, I mean,
and you can't talk about the quality of life. Like, we don't have to fight traffic to get to baseball practices. You know, I can get there in 5 minutes and drop my kid off and not worry about it.
What has been the biggest surprise to you in your professional career?
I don't know. Biggest surprise. I think maybe that I'm the vice chancellor here at the University of South Carolina Aiken, because I think I would have thought that I would have stayed here as long as I did, and I definitely didn't know if this was going to be the place that I was going to get to be the vice chancellor at, because I always wanted to be the senior student affairs professional. But I guess you know, when you're at a place for a while, sometimes you you blow up some bridges. If you're going to do some real change, you're gonna frustrate some people. And I guess I'm surprised that I was able to overcome some of those obstacles and still have the trust in the folks that I work with.
Love it. We'll wrap this up, but let me ask one more question. And then we'll get to some rapid fire questions. Those are fun ones. What has been the biggest thing for you to set the culture of this community? Because I'll give you, personally, I give you a lot of credit for what this college has done for many folks, but what has been your biggest thing to set the culture here?
So I think one of the things that I've tried to do as I moved up is I've tried to appreciate folks that don't get the recognition all the time, that do a lot of the behind the scenes work. You know, I go out of my way to make sure that I know the folks that are in the cafeteria, because those folks talk to students all the time. They're going to know things that they're not going to tell the vice chancellor. Yeah. You know, I send lots of thank you notes. I go out of my way to appreciate people when appropriate. And I think that has, you know, I had a student tell me one time they never got a handwritten thank you note until they got one from me. And that just floors me. I mean, like, who doesn't get a handwritten thank you note? But then I think about it, I don't get a whole bunch, you know, so people just don't do that kind of stuff anymore. And I think people appreciate it when you do something that maybe isn't always done. So I think that's one of the ways that I've tried to affect the culture, is make sure that I'm appreciating the folks that do the real work. Because quite frankly, nowadays, I just show up to stuff, shake hands, and
kiss babies.
Yeah, kiss babies, and answer emails, and approve policies, all the not fun stuff, when there's people really doing the work.
I love it. All right, so rapid fire questions. Ready? So one word answers. Beach or mountains?
Should I be nervous?
No, you're good.
All right, mountains.
Mountains? I'm shocked by that.
No, I mean, I grew up on the beach, so that was awesome.
Sweet tea or Coke? Tell the truth. You can tell the truth.
Yeah, so neither. Sweet tea's way too sweet. A Coke, kind of Diet Coke would be where I would go.
And then what's your favorite drink?
My favorite drink, non-alcoholic, would probably be Diet Coke.
And your favorite beverage of choice?
Beverage of choice would be some kind of IPA. Right now, I'm on a Sweetwater 420 kick.
There you go. There you go. Awesome. Anything you want to leave the people with?
Yeah, no, I just appreciate this opportunity to talk to you, and this has been great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. Y'all,
thank you.
If you haven't been in the USC Aiken of the campus, it's an absolutely gorgeous campus. You can walk around. Come to an athletic event. The basketball team's top notch, a baseball team. There's running trails. I mean, literally, if you have not been to this campus, you need to step on. If you're an alumni watching this video,
get involved.
Yeah, contact us, do something. It's super easy, and I promise you, the blessing that you'll get on the backside of that will be so much more than you ever believed. So, awesome. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Josh. Appreciate it. Yep.